Preparing to go live, and let's see. And we're live. Now I can hear myself talking twice. All right, let me mute this, and we are live. Excellent. Cool. So this is what it's our third week, right?
hmm
Third week. Okay, cool. So I know in week one we kind of discussed, I think, the basics, like the emotions that you needed to have to invest, and kind of like getting prepared to invest. And actually, what else did we discuss? I know we discussed looking at banks, interest rate, why you shouldn't put so much money in the bank. Then I think last week we discussed some basic stock terminology that you need to learn. And we covered more than that. My mind went blank all of a sudden. But this week, it's going to be a short video. We're just going to cover, how to buy and sell stock, and how to create a watch list. And we'll briefly talk about some stocks that can make some moves, or some industries that can make some moves now that we have a new uh, potential president in office, and a new just whole cabinet in office. So um, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. If not, we could just kind of get
Yeah.
started.
I think since we're doing just 30 minutes, we can jump into that and probably you explaining the market orders more, and so that people will know how the importance or the relevance of it. And yeah, we jump to the next two.
So we always start with FinViz because it's
Mm-hmm.
a great
Are we live?
visualization. Yep, we're definitely live. We're definitely
Okay.
live. So I mean, this is always you. We kind of look at the top three, sectors, and the bottom three, and kind of see which direction we might be heading.
Yeah. So just another day once again, everybody who has just tuned in. Uh, we we just kind of how we do it, like giving basic knowledge explanation about the stock market, and you can see the first day relative performance, uh, top three high, basic material, technology, and consumer defense. Like that's really wild.
Mm.
Yeah, that is really wild. Yeah, and the bottom three, healthcare, um, financial, real estate, and energy. And my question is, why is energy so down, uh, so low like that? I don't know whether because of the elections or the president's.
That's a combination, I think. It's a combination with, all countries want to move to a more cleaner energy. They want to get away from
Mhm.
fossil fuels. But not only that, I mean, think about it. We're in this pandemic, so you know, not a lot of people are flying. So there's a lot of fuel not being used right there.
Mhm.
Uh, the manufacturing sectors were pretty much shut down in the states and other countries, specifically in China. That's a lot of fuel not being used. Nobody's on the highway driving, so really not a lot of energy is being used. I mean, besides the energy, from being at home with your lights. But
Yeah, and I think part of Europe is locking down too. They're going to
yeah.
have a second lockdown, so no flying. In fact, today I was helping a friend who was booking a flight from Ghana um, to the States, and he had a flight going back. He was trying to finish some things there and book another flight back because he didn't do a round trip thing because he wanted to be sure of when he was going to come back. And trust me, we had I had a long time with Delta, even online today, like
Yeah.
trying to help uh, um, book a flight for him. And I think it all contributes to what the energy sector is doing. What you said, like most flights are not moving, stuff
Hmm.
like that because of the lockdown and all that. So nobody's moving. Who's going to use for like?
Yep. And so not only the energy, but then that makes sense for real estate as well, because
Mhm.
people not going to malls. Man, I've been to the mall once since this pandemic, and it was just kind of dead in there. That's not only mall, like a lot of real estates. Just even commercial real estate companies. They're all shut down. So that's
Yeah,
why it makes sense. Energy, real estate, and finance are the bottom three.
Yeah, and when it comes to the issue of the malls, it's so obvious. Like I work in one of those one of these malls, like, and from Monday to Friday, some of the malls even close very early by 8 o'clock. Most of the stores
Yeah.
have closed. In fact, sorry, by 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So weekdays sales, it's not like how you have it like some years back. So all these malls and stuff like that, they're not really making that money that they need to make. So I'm not surprised we have real estate and some of this brick and mortar, as we call it, um, shops, having struggling down there below. But when we come to 1 week relative performance, we see technology
Hmm.
still high. For
Number
me, I think
one.
technology is going to have a very long ride, like a
Yeah.
very long ride. Looking at directions and the way things are going, a very long ride. Like I don't know how to describe how long the ride is going to be, but people investing in technology. Right now, we are surrounded by technology. Everything is by tech, tech, tech. So I'm not surprised to jump back to the top, and we have communication services also.
Mhm.
Um, Second, and healthcare also. Um, Healthcare also jumping in on the third. With the few information about COVID cases spiking in places,
Yeah.
um, I'm wondering how they managed to jump back to the third. Is something influencing something, or I don't know? Like, I thought probably that would really go all the way down, but it's rather
So I
there.
agree with you about the tech. I think tech's going to be around 5, 10, 15 years because tech is in, it's in every sector now, in every industry. Everything is tech related. Everything's connected to the internet or the cloud some type of way. And that's what the whole fight is mainly over between like the United States and China. They want to see who's going to be the technology king, right? Because whoever owns technology, pretty much for the most part, kind of controls the whole world. Believe it or not. Of the cloud, some
Mhm.
type of way.
Yeah,
And so then you're talking about healthcare. Yeah, with
yeah.
COVID, especially with Biden, Democrats have always been, more pro healthcare, I think, than Republicans. The whole Obamacare and making sure everybody has health insurance and stuff like that. So I think that probably jumped in the top three in the last week because of Biden and his administration. You know, that's probably
That
why
is,
that
yeah,
peaked. 'Cause-
yeah. That's so obvious when it comes to um, the elections and presidency and how it affects the economy. So sometimes I tell people, hey, if you are somebody that's it's really into investments, the news should be one big thing that you should always look at. Like, trust me,
yeah.
yeah, because some of these informations kind of go out there for you to um, know what is going on, and hey, you'll really be surprised what it.
Yeah, that's cool that you said that, man, because you could kind of like half pay attention, like kind of like we just went through this map, looking at the 1 day, the 1 week, 1 month. I mean, and just using common sense, you can see why like some of these sectors at the top and why they're at the bottom. So just knowing that we have a new president and he's going to have different fiscal policies and monetary policies from the old president, there's going to be some change. So some stocks that were doing bad might start doing good. Some were doing good might do bad. And just by like half paying attention to the news and in your everyday surroundings and environment, sometimes that's all you need to know to invest in stocks. You might have to go a little bit, further and doing some research in these actual companies. But for the most part, you get an overall picture just by kind of, following the news.
Yeah, that's true. That is
So,
for 1 week. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, that's what we see right there. Everything being done there for us to know what is going. So somebody will ask that. Okay. So the way I see this 1 week relative performance and the other one, should I does that mean that I should just jump into tech stocks or communication stocks, look under them and see what is really thriving in there for me to quickly jump in there and buy their stocks? I would say that you need to do a lot of research on that. If you are not, I'm not a day trader. Even though I know how to day trade,
yeah.
I kind of I kind of look at things from the long-term perspective, like 5 years. Like everybody that um, you, you are into investment, you obviously know you have your long-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your short-term goals, if I'm right.
Yep.
And if you are looking at short-term goals, you are looking at just 1 to 2 years, medium-term goals, 2 to 5 years, long-term goals, 5 to 10 or 20 years.
Yep.
So you kind of have to have all those things in mind when you're putting your money somewhere in the market. Uh, for me, I'm looking at long term. Once a while, I see Terry trade, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" I also want to learn it.
Yeah. I do day trading. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started with Johnny, I made some money and I was happy. Then I lost some money. And I said I'm gonna stop. And then I became a little bit more, just taking less risk. I actually did a day trade on Friday and made like $75. I probably could have doubled my money if I would have held a little bit longer. But yeah, when day trades present itself, I do it. But like you say, if you don't know how to day trade, don't do it.
Yeah.
But you said something important, man. I was kind of listening to you. Like you're right. Like if somebody say, well, based on this, should I just invest in technology or communication services? I mean, all of this is just, more data points for you to make a decision. So like if you've been researching technology or thinking about investing in the tech sector, this is just another data point, to help you make your decision. So I wouldn't just use one indicator, but if you've done research on certain sectors and maybe you've been watching the news and and you see this, like, all right, you put it all together, yeah, maybe you should invest in tech or
Okay.
communication services. But
No.
all right.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. And I know we not really, maybe probably we'll look at that. Do you invest in bitcoins?
No, but man, I'm glad you. I'm really thinking about it. I've been really thinking about it.
Because I think this week I saw a notification on PayPal about PayPal in with bitcoins, and Bitcoin has really been rising. Like it keeps going high. I saw Bitcoin from 12,000, and it's around 15,000 now. So I'm
Yeah,
like, when diversifying your portfolio, is it good to at least put a little bit of money there to
yeah,
see how it rides, or you should it drops before you jump in and all that. I'm sure maybe one of these days you handle that so that we
yeah.
can see what is going
It's
on
on my
Bitcoin.
radar, man. It's been on the radar, but it's one of those things like I'm not buying Bitcoin. It doesn't make sense. But it hasn't went anywhere. But I tell you what, I'm not afraid of it rising to a point where it's too high because, in my opinion, I could be wrong. Money is money. So if I'm a
Okay.
millionaire and I have, whether US dollars or whatever currency, I'm still wealthy and I can transfer that to Bitcoin. The only reason I haven't invested in Bitcoins is I don't 100% understand it. I don't understand how they mine it and all that. I got an
Okay.
idea, but until I fully understand it, I can't just give them my money. But
That's
they're making it
that's true.
easier to invest in it, so I'm thinking about doing it. But when the U.S. come out and say like, okay, we're gonna create our own digital currency, then I'll start investing in that. Until then, as long as the U.S. government is saying like, no, Bitcoin is not legit, or it's kind of like, I don't know, for buying stuff online.
Mhm.
I mean, what's the
Yeah,
use, right?
that's true. That's true.
But all
Okay.
right. So yeah, we got 17 minutes. So this week it's gonna be real simple.
Hmm.
It's always sounds simple to me, like how do you buy and sell a stock? But I realize some people never actually bought a stock or sold a stock before. And so this is gonna be real quick. Like when you buy in a stock, you have options. You could buy it at a market order or limit order. And actually, how much the difference is when you buy the market order, it's pretty much saying, let's say the stock was trading $19. Every second that stock goes up and down. So when you say you buying at the market order, you're basically saying, hey, whatever is trading at right then and there at that moment, that's the price I want to buy it at. So if you enter like, yeah, I want to buy 200 shares at a market order and it's at 19, and the moment you enter that order, it jumps to $19.50. Well, they're gonna sell it to you for 19.50. You know, The pros is it's fast execution. You don't have to really think about it. The con is sometimes you might be paying a little too much, because the opposite side is a limit order. A limit order, you can specify exactly what you want to pay at. So if it's at 19.50 and I think that's too high and I want to buy 19, I enter $19. The pros is you buying, to specify a price, but it has to go down to $19 in order for my order to be fulfilled. If it doesn't, then my order doesn't go through and I might have to raise my price. So I
So
actually have.
that is for market order, right?
Yep.
Okay. So market
So
order basically, if I understand, is buying the stock at the quoted price, the
yep.
right price that is there. So if let's say you have maybe I always use the simple one, Apple. Okay, that you just mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't know why I went to Apple. Some told me to go to Apple. I was gonna do Walmart, but I went to Apple. Okay.
Okay, so let's say Apple at 118.69.
Hmm.
If I'm buying it at the market order or using the market order to buy, use that particular what name do we even call it to purchase it. That means I'm buying it at 11869,
Right.
irrespective of whether the price is down. If the price is down, I'm still going to buy it at that particular price. So let's say it goes down from 118 to 117, and I'm buying it at the market order. That is the prevailing market price. I'm going to buy it at 117. If it goes up to 119, I'm buying it at 119. That is for the market order, right?
Right. Well, kind of like you see it right now. It said the last price was at 118 and 69.
Mm-hmm.
But and I know the market is closed, but somebody was trying to buy for 118.52 and
Mm-hmm.
somebody was trying to sell it for 118.53. Now, so if I come in here and say, okay, I want to buy 10 shares and I just click on market, um, let's say it's at 118.69 and all of a sudden it jumps to $120. They're gonna sell it to me for 120 at that moment. I just bought it at $120 because I just put in market order. Once I click, order and put market, I had no control. Whatever price they want to sell it to me at, that's what they're gonna sell it to me. And it's usually the highest price.
Okay, so even though it's showing somebody's trying to sell at 11852
Hmm.
and somebody's trying to buy at 11853, if I and that is what at the time that I was trying to buy 10,
Yep. Yep.
I thought I could buy that, and immediately I put in the order, it jumps to maybe 120.
Yep.
They are going to sell it to 120.
Yep. Because you like
Okay,
the price changes literally every second. So you
okay,
you might get lucky. It might have went to 117 and you bought it at 117, but at that instant it went up to 120, you just bought it at the highest price.
okay,
As
okay.
opposed to clicking limit and I say, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, I still want to buy, 10 shares, but I only want to pay $118 for it. So once I enter my order, as long as it's trading above 118, my order is not going to be fulfilled. You know, but if it drops to 118, it's going to go ahead and buy it for me.
Okay, so with the limit, it means either rain or shine. It's 118 that I want to buy it. So if it goes into whatever amount, maybe 120, 130, I don't mind. I want to buy it at 118 at all costs because
Yep.
that is what I have. So I'm going to get it at that price.
Hmm.
Okay,
But
that's
it has
fair,
to go
very.
down to that price. If it doesn't, then see, 99% of my orders are like limit. I always put in my limit. Only reason that I might do a market order is just like for stocks that don't really change that much, maybe a penny or so. So
Mhm.
Apple doesn't really, it's not that volatile. So let's say if, like right now, this bid and ask, if it was to stay within this range, do you really care if you buy a 118.53 or 118.52? I mean, it's literally a penny. So,
Yeah.
as long as it's trading within that tight bid ask spread, all right, I can do a market order. What's 1 or 2 cents? But if it's jumping 10, 20, 30 cents, then nah, I'm doing a limit order, why pay extra? Because to be honest with you, that's could be 1 to 3% uh profit you missed out on if you buy it too high.
That's so cool. Okay, so
So
it's I saw something. It says
here I go back. Sorry.
sorry, I saw. No, I mean, go back to the slide
Okay.
once again. it says there's no guarantee your order will be executed. So
Yep.
under limit order, it's you don't have control. Is it you don't have control over the market in terms of what you're buying it at?
Nope.
If I get you right. Mhm.
Right. I mean, obviously you got to do a little research, right? So like we looking at Apple, if it's 118.69, if you come in here and enter, $100, it's not gonna go down to $100 in any particular day. It's just not. More than likely, it's not that day. But at 118.69, I might could enter 118 because Apple. It's not. I mean, the most I've seen it drop in one day is like 6%, and that was because of all that crazy stuff Trump was doing. But for the most part, it really doesn't change that much, 1 or 2%, in a given day. Um, so if I go in here and put what's 1% minus 118? Oh, let's just do 2%. Actually, that's kind of high. 1.5%. You might can enter 116.23. And it might go through. Actually, you know what? That's why we're live. So let's just look at Friday. So Friday, it traded anywhere from 116 to 119. So there you go. So yeah, we was kind of right. So, started off the day is at 118. It dropped all the way to 116. So if you would have entered 116.50, you could have bought it that day. And then it went up.
That's a cool ride.
So it's the same thing with selling. You got the same options. You can sell at market, you can sell on stop on quote, and there's actually like one or two more options on there. But same thing, just instead of buy, you sell. And so you can sell at market, same thing, wherever it's selling at that time, it's going to sell it. It's not going to sell it to you at the highest. It's usually sell it to you at the lowest. So it's usually a good idea to put a limit. So me personally, let's say if I was watching Apple like on this particular day, and let's say, I bought it like 100 and I'm watching it Friday and it goes all the way up to, what did it go up to? 119. I might tell myself, okay, I want to sell it. If it goes down to 118, go ahead and sell it. So I enter this limit price. And if it goes below that, it'll sell. But it has to go below that.
Okay. That's cool. That's good to know. And there are other sort of orders also that I see there. Stop on
Oh well,
quote.
stop on quote is the same thing. I'm sorry. So let's say a stock went from $100 to 200. It's like, okay, I just doubled my money. And you don't know if you want to sell or not because you think it might go up some more. So you might say like, okay, I don't want to, obviously you don't want to sell if it goes up, but it's a potential it might go down and I don't want to lose too much money. So if it went from 100 to 200, I tell you what, if it drops below 175, sell it. That's pretty much what the stop on quote means. If it goes below
Okay.
this price, go ahead and sell it for me.
Okay. Okay. That's for stop on quote. So that one basically deals with if you want to sell the stock.
Yep. If you
Okay.
want to sell it, but you kind of want to protect yourself, you only want to sell it if it drops below a certain level. So, you might be trying to protect your gain or you don't want to
Yeah.
lose too much. So,
Sure. Okay.
actually, I
Okay.
use this when I'm day trading a lot. So, I might buy at $10 and it goes up to 11. I'm like, man, I wonder if it could go up to 12. But I also want to lock in some of my profits. So I tell you what, I'm gonna put a stop on quote. If it dips below $10.50, go and sell it because it could potentially go below 10, and now instead of a 20% gain, I done lost 20%. So I put a
Okay.
stop on quote.
Okay. Okay.
And then these last two, you can use these. I use these for day trading. Trailing stop. So you
Mm-hmm.
can actually enter the dollar amount. So let's say, if it's trading at 118, I say like if it falls $1 below 118, sell.
Mm.
That's pretty simple. If it goes $2 below 118, sell. If it drops $2, sell. Or a percentage. Like, okay, like I said, it went up 100%. If it drops more than 10%, sell.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
So so
percentage.
so
Yeah.
the last two, or if I'm right, the last two or the last three, it's more of it's more of if you're selling the stock, not really when you're buying the stock.
Yeah, selling. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's
So
that's fair. That's understandable. Yeah.
And the rest of these, market on close, that's pretty simple. Like, yeah, when the market closes at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. Eastern, just sell wherever it's at, just sell. And this stop limit on quote is like a combination of these two. And I've never used this one, to be honest with you. I've never. You could put in a limit price. I just don't use it. It's a little complicated, so I don't really need that. And duration, that's pretty standard. You could put in, let's say you put on the stop quote, sell at 175. You might want to make this order good for 60 days. So that's how that works. So and that's how you buy and sell a stock. And the last thing is, building an effective watch list. So
Okay.
so many companies to look out, especially
Yeah.
with the new administration. So sometimes, instead of trying to remember all these, just create a watch list. You can actually do this with Yahoo, but if you got a brokerage account, just come in here and oh shit, where is it? Yeah, and just add it to your watch list. I have a lot, you know. Yeah, I'm watching all these stocks. So since I've added this, here's the dollar change and the percentage change. So the only one that I think that I might have missed out on some money is probably Square, because since I added it, it's went up 13%. Twilio's
Okay.
been down 5%. Datadog actually have an earnings report this week. So yeah, to be honest with you, technically, I mean, you can have as many as you want in your watch list, but anywhere from 15 to 20 is, or maybe even
It's okay.
30 is enough. Anything more than that, it's just hard to keep track. And what's
Yeah.
cool about this, it tells you the dividends. So if they pay dividends, I mean, here's all the dividend dates, and you can say, okay, well, like what's today? November the 8th. Are any of these dividends coming up shortly? Let's see here. Like
I don't
maybe
see any
this
of
one,
them.
like
Yeah, maybe.
QCOM. Yeah,
Yeah.
in about a month. So I might want to jump in this and get my dividend and jump out real quick. But that's pretty
So
simple.
okay, so I know we've not really gone deeper into the dividend cost yet, but from what you just said about QCOM, so let's say with the dividends there, with that, you can quickly jump in, and when dividends is being paid, you jump out.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah,
Okay,
jump in, jump out.
now that's a good company to hold for a long time, though. Maybe I maybe
Yeah, I
QCOM
actually
is a,
held them for a while, made quick money, and I will be coming back to it. I will be coming back to a lot of these stocks. To be honest with you, QCOM, Qualcomm, Cloud, Datadog, all these are mainly like data centers and stuff like that. And
mhm.
since everything's geared towards the internet or the cloud, even hack, that's cybersecurity. You probably want to be in some of these. So I'll be coming
Yeah.
back home.
I've
Trust me.
been, I think I've been following Hack for some time now, and all the XLY and the XLK and this other ones. Like, my only challenge sometimes with them is the expense ratio. That is something that you really have to really look at before you end up entering into a particular ETF that you may probably end up paying more. I think when you put in 1,000 or more, that's when you really feel a lot of the impact, right, in terms of the
Yeah,
expense ratio.
depends
Okay.
on what it is, man. Sometimes those expense ratio will be like $3 for every thousand. So what's three
Okay.
dollars? But if it's 20, 30, you might want to look at that. But you know
Okay.
what? I wasn't gonna say anything, but since it's on my watch list, I want to do some more research. But like I say, you my brother, I'm gonna let you in on a potential secret that I think I might have found, right?
Okay.
So I'm big on Virgin Galactic. I talk about it all
Yeah,
the
I'm
time.
I'm still holding on to that, man. I still have it.
Okay. But I would really like to invest in SpaceX, but SpaceX is not public yet, right? It's not public yet, so you can't invest in it. I
That
was
was a
reading.
question I wanted to ask you, but I wanted to text you this week to find out, like, what's up with SpaceX? Like, I don't see it anywhere. Like, how can one really jump into that?
Technically you can't because it's not public, and
Mhm.
Elon Musk says he's not going to make it public until they reach a certain stage, so that might be 5 years down the road. I think he want to actually reach Mars first before he go public. But I was reading this article about Baron. They own like some, I think it's mutual funds or maybe an ETF, and and it's actually on YouTube. I think the CEO, he was talking about SpaceX, and he says like, you know what? If you invest in my mutual fund, I actually own invested in SpaceX. And I was like, what?
What?
Yeah. And so, and I'm gonna show you this right here. Let's look at the portfolio and let's look at their holdings. All right, there's their top 10. What is this right here? Space exploration. That's
Oh my
space.
God.
That's SpaceX right there, brother. They
Oh my.
own 4% of their portfolio SpaceX, and of course they in Tesla, CoStar. And when I seen this, I'm like, oh, they might
That
get
is
they might get
that
my
is
money.
interesting.
Actually, they are gonna get my money.
That is really interesting.
So yeah, I don't know how many people are actually gonna see this video, but technically there's a way for you to invest in SpaceX right now. I was talking to my coworker, he's in finance, and when I told him this, he's like, "What's the ticker?" I was like, "All right,
Yeah. That was the next thing I was going to talk about. Like, if you don't know what the ticker is, let's get it today. Is
there you
the short
go,
word, yeah, the short form for uh
BPTRX."
yeah, BPTRX, short form. And some of this tickets or some of these companies, if you're using Robinhood, you don't see it there.
Nah,
Trust
you're not
me.
gonna see this. You're not gonna see
Yeah,
this on Robinhood.
you're not going to see it on Robinhood if you're using Robinhood. So that's why we say that it's always good to get one or two different accounts so that you can know uh, some of this tickets and where they're going from, what direction and what
But just
direction
know,
again.
I mean, since they only own, their holdings is only 4% SpaceX, and SpaceX is so far in the future. If you invest in this, as we always say, this don't look for no return in the next year or two. You gotta wait 5, 10 years easily. But when that thing starts to pop off, you'll be glad you held on it for 5 or 10 years. I
Yeah.
mean, they talking about colonizing Mars, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what other company can you invest in that's in that industry? You just can't.
Yes.
All right.
BPRX, right?
Yep.
BPTR.
BPTRX. Yep.
All right.
So yeah, that's my
I
secret
think that's
stock.
gonna add to my watch list to see how it goes. I think this one, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's been doing since I added it. To be honest with you, because I got my funds 0.32%. I got my funds actually 5.7%. I've been looking at this wrong. Okay, it should be this column. So everything that I said earlier doesn't apply. So instead of 13%, Square actually went up 27%. My bad. And
Yeah.
so okay.
For those that don't know a lot about Square, all the um, payment devices that you see when you go in there to buy something, they're like, tap your phone, Apple Pay, use your Apple Pay, tap your card, and payment goes through. Um, I think they're in control of that, right?
Yep,
Mhm.
they are. Actually, okay. I ain't gonna get too deep in that because we might go. So anyway, I know we're
Mhm.
running up on, well, we're actually at the 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
we figured that, the last 10, 20, I don't even know anybody's live, but we figured we'd just cover some potential stocks that could kind of maybe go up now that we have a new president. So I know one thing that everybody's happy about is the marijuana, the cannabis industry. So um, we're looking at ACB or Aurora Cannabis. You might want to do your own personal research because I don't think they're profitable yet. But just the fact that Biden was at this point he wasn't even confirmed to be the president, but it was more than likely he was. It went from $4.44 all the way up to like 11.81. And I was just telling Kaiser before we got online. I mean, basically, you could have damn near tripled your money in 2 days if you would have bought this stock on Wednesday.
Hmm.
That's how wonderful the stock market can be. I mean that quick. It's all about news. So here's another one, Chronos. Actually, they might. I don't think they're profitable. Oh, actually, they are profitable, but because I don't think ACB is. But this one didn't go up as quite as much as ACB. Went from like 5 to like 750, so about 16, 20% gain depending on kind of when you bought it. So might want to pay attention to the marijuana cannabis industry, but I wouldn't just jump all in. Me personally, I think a lot more states are going to legalize it, and it's going to be a select few companies that really make a profit, but the rest of them are not going to make a profit, and you could potentially lose a lot of money in there. So I think there's actually time to get in some of these stocks. But
Yeah, I also personally think when it comes to some of these stocks, um, legalization in terms of how the government is. I think there's going to be a lot of paperwork around some of these companies to really let it go, like really live in some of the states and all that. I don't know how far that is going to happen or how soon that is going to happen. But hey, for most of the young people I see around me, area, sometimes I tell them, hey, instead of smoking that, rather put money in there, in there to make some good money back. Like it will really help you a lot when we talk about your money working for you when you are asleep. Rather invest into some of this. But to me, I think it's going to really take some time for stocks like this to really, go. I think some states don't have not endorsed it yet. Am I right?
like Texas, yeah,
Yeah,
Texas. I
some
live in
states have.
Texas. Texas just say no, it ain't gonna happen next maybe 2 or 3 years from now, but not now.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, so Texas, I'm planning on visiting there one of these days. I have some few church events there that I wanted to pass through. So maybe anytime I'm coming, I'll let you know.
Yeah, you come to
Yeah,
Dallas or even Houston,
yeah.
man. I mean, I live in Dallas, but I be in Houston sometimes. Yeah.
So okay, okay.
So yeah, I think there's
Mhm.
time for the marijuana. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Me personally, I'm not gonna invest in the marijuana industry right now. I'm gonna wait. I might
Mhm.
miss out, but I'm just gonna wait.
For me, it's not one of the areas. Even though I look at what is going on there, I read the news. Some pharmaceutical companies looking into using them a lot and stuff like that. Um, Health sector really looking into using them a lot and stuff like that. I kind of see the news back and forth on Yahoo Finance and all that. But as we always say, this channel is just for educational purposes. So it's
Yep.
also up to you to um, do all your research to really know what is going on in which sector you want to invest or put your money into. So keep gathering the knowledge around it. Like I would. That's what I'm doing now. I would like to have more information, more details into it before I jump into it. But there are a lot of them. Like I see a lot of them out there on the stock market. I see a lot of them.
Now, if I was to invest, I was actually investing in this company. I would invest in the Altria.
Okay.
That's mainly for cigarette companies like Philip Morris and those companies. And I think they had bought, what is that, Zool, the electric cigarette or whatever. But
Mm,
I think there's potential for them to actually buy some marijuana companies as well, or be in that industry. And what I like about this company is they're actually a dividend aristocrat. I don't know if they're a dividend aristocrat or a king, but basically they have a history of paying out dividends for over 25 years. So at least I know if I invest in this company and they're in the marijuana industry, that if even if the marijuana industry don't take off like I think it's gonna take off, I know I'm gonna get my dividend, and the stock is actually not doing that well this year because of the pandemic. So the dividend is currently at 9.23%. I mean, think about that. I mean, where can you get 9.23% on your money? Well, you could get without you right now. So
yeah.
this was definitely on my radar because I don't know if you remember, if you look at AT&T, which is a good one, AT&T stock is right around $30 a share, and they
Hmm.
pay out $2.08 per share that you own. Well, shit, this is at 344, and it's only trading, maybe another $10 per share. I mean, that's
Mm,
crazy. I mean, let's just, if you do the big numbers, let's say, there's some people out there with $1 million. And they bought it 37. They have 27,000 shares times what is this? 344, bro. That's like 92 grand a year. Just if you bought Moultrie, if you had $1 million. So I don't know where else you could put your money. You can't do that in the bank. I know that. So, and then the last two, and we'll wrap it off with this. Biden and his administration are big on renewable energy. particularly like solar. So you might want to look at companies like First Solar or even Tesla that's into renewable energy, where it's solar power or hydropower or what's the other one? You got solar from the sun, you got wind, you got the water, hydro. So anything that's clean, renewable energy, I think the new administration is going to be all about that. And it's a lot more than this, but we could just go on and on. But Tesla got some big things. I know people think it's just an electric vehicle company, but it's actually more than that. It's a lot more than that. Just go to their website and look at it one day, and you'll realize, like, okay, you'll see the potential. So,
Yeah.
but it's gonna
So
take a while.
mhm, that's true. And for me, for some of the stocks that like are really in their all-time high now. Um,
Oh yeah.
what is the strategy one needs to use around them? Should you wait until there's a little shake or a little crash when they go down, that you can jump on, or what do you think?
It's always me personally. I never think you should buy at the top. I made that
Okay.
mistake so many times.
And before you continue, I'm not cutting you there. When you say to buy at the top, can you really explain to our listeners so that probably they will know? Okay, so this is the top, this is the low, just in case.
Okay. So here's a great example. We're looking at ACB. So I
Hmm.
remember how we talked about it went from $4 to 11.81. So if you would have came in here when it was trading that day, I didn't mean to click on the map, but okay. That's why I don't like Yahoo, to be honest with you sometimes. Actually, let me go back. Yeah, here's a great example. Okay. In the last 52 weeks, ACB, the highs it traded at was $45.48. So
Hmm.
that's the top. That's the high. If you would have bought it $45.48, you'd be in trouble right now, right? Because it's at $9.79. So that's one of the reasons why you kind of want to be skeptical when you're buying at the top, because people like to think that stocks are gonna just go straight up, but it never goes straight up. It's kind of zigzag. It goes down, it does a correction, and it goes up again. And so when it reaches very top and you just think it's just gonna keep going up, you got to be careful. I actually did a report for one of my clients. He was looking at NIO, and I was like, man, the stock
Oh,
is,
Neil,
yeah,
that's
Neo.
interesting.
Yeah, let's go look at that one. Like Neo went up, and the last. Let's just look at this. So let's just do 6 months. All right, think about it. All right, the last 6 months. This was in May. Dang, it's gonna. It went from $3 to $41. All right, what percentage is that? Let's just let me see. Is that three? Yeah, 337 to like 41. So let's just do. Okay, it went up almost 1100%. How much higher do you think it's gonna go this year?
Hmm.
If a stock goes up 1100%, how much higher do you think it's going to go up this year?
Hold on, I didn't get a calculation you did. Do you mind?
Okay. So, all right. So we're looking at this map, right? I'm on the 6 month.
Hmm.
So I could see around May it was trading at like around $3.44. And now it's trading at 41.63. So if you want to see what percentage gain that is, you take the current price, which is
Hmm.
41.63, minus the old price was 350,
Hmm.
and then you divide by the old price, 350, and you just multiply that by 100, and that's your percentage gain. So
Okay.
1,089%.
Hmm.
So if you came in here like right now, it's like, okay, well, not saying it can't keep going up, but how much higher do you think it's gonna go up when it's already went up 1,100% this year? So that's one of the reasons you rarely want to buy at the top. You just don't. Let me see. Let me see if I could blow this up more. As high as it's been since $43. Like, let's look at Tesla, because Tesla, have you did your split yet? Let's just look at the year to date. kind of hard with Tesla because they did that split. But anyway, at one point it was at $502. You know, that was pretty
Yeah,
much its highest. Now it's at 430. So whenever you reach the top, it's a very good chance that it's going to have a slight correction. It's going to pull back some.
yeah. So it's then it's better you wait for the correction.
Just wait for the correction. Just wait for the
Okay.
correction. Just wait for the correction. Or you can always, let me just I throw this out there. You can look at some indicators, right? And one good indicator that you could look at is the Bollinger Band. So what stock we want to look at? Let's just look at Apple. Apple's a very good example. I forgot about that split. That split keeps messing everything up. And let's just turn on this indicator. Where are you at, indicators? Turn on this Bollinger Band. All right. All right. The Bollinger Band is cool because basically saying, whenever the stock price goes above this band or below the band, that it needs to have a correction. So let me see if any time has it went out. Kind of like you see right here when it got to right here, it was outside this Bollinger Band. It's outside this band, the top band and the bottom band. So it had to come back within these bands. I don't know if that makes sense. Like here, it was outside of it, so it had to come back in, so you know it's going to go down. People use these a lot. I don't know if that makes sense to you. What's another stock that's been going up and down? Let's just look at Amazon. Amazon's been pretty consistent here. Yeah, right here it went outside the Bollinger Band, so it was outside even though it was declining, so it had to go back up. Same thing when it goes outside of the Bollinger Bands on the upper limit, it's got to come back down. So you can use the Bollinger Bands, and you can also use like RSI indicators as well. But long story short, be careful buying at the top if you think it's just going to keep going up. It usually does a correction. You buy on a correction, you never know, man. That could be an easy 5 or 10% gain just by you being patient.
Mm,
So,
that's interesting. For those that don't understand all those graphs, maybe we'll have a time and we can go into
yeah,
graphs later.
I know
Yeah,
it's complicated,
yeah.
bro.
Some of them I like myself. I kind of find it difficult understanding them. I'm like, okay, let me just stick to my fundamentals, and it looks like always the fundamentals helps
Yeah,
helps me a lot. Yeah. So Yahoo Finance gives you both the fundamentals and the technicals too. So those are good areas that you can look at. Yep. Okay, so
yeah,
that was a
and
super cool right today.
yeah. Anytime you want to, man. Actually, that's a good idea. We might just do a weekly video on how to use indicators, man, because I know it could be
Mhm.
complicated, but
Yeah,
once you start looking at it, you're like, oh, that's all y'all was looking at. That's so simple, you know.
good. So my next question is how long did it take you to understand all this with the technicals and the fundamentals? Like how many years?
To be honest with you, I'm still learning because you're always learning something new. Like these Bollinger
Okay.
Bands, I never used Bollinger Bands until one of the followers, Mark Monroe, kind of showed me how to use it. But it's kind of like you, man. I might be watching somebody else's video and I just pick up something and I keep doing research on it. So to answer your question, it wasn't years. I'd say about 6 months.
6 months. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But in your investment career, like so far, like how many years have you kind of gone through to get to
Oh, to the level
this
I'm at
level?
now? About three, at least three. Cause I
Or
mean,
3 years?
you're always learning something new, man. I mean,
Yeah.
um, cause like right now, think about all the things I picked up from swing trading to day trading, to looking at earnings reports. On Thursday, you're looking out for the job data, and there's just always something new that you learn about investing. Now I'm looking at forex. I'm doing option trading. So you just take baby steps. The first step, obviously, is learning about the different market sectors in the index funds. That's all you need to focus on, the simple stuff.
Okay.
Then
Okay,
once you get
so
that down, you start looking at earnings reports and maybe doing some swing trading and stuff like that. And then you start looking at, okay, cool. How do I look at some of these earnings reports and look at the financials, whether it's the balance sheet, income statements, cash
mm,
flow statements, and yeah, you just keep learning new stuff. I mean, you tell me some stuff sometimes. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Cool, learn something new.
yeah. I asked before we leave or before we go, I asked this question because sometimes you have investors or somebody that starts new and they feel they can get everything in one day. Like,
Yeah,
if it took you like 3 years and you're still learning, for anybody that is watching us right now, I know I've shared the link on one of my WhatsApp status, and I have a couple of people just sent me a message around there like, okay, I'm watching, and I'm like, okay, that is cool. But for those that are watching right now, those that are looking at us, the person that is teaching us is saying he took like 3 years to learn it.
yeah,
So you can't learn everything in one day. Like
yeah.
there are some people they want to learn everything that same day. Like they just jump on YouTube and they want to understand everything that same day. I don't think that possible. It's better you use the word baby steps. Learn this today, learn that tomorrow, learn this today, learn that tomorrow, and it's really going to get you to that place. Yeah.
Sometimes, man, it's just simple. Just compare it to your regular life. Like, what have you perfected in one day? When you start a new job, you don't learn everything in one day. As an
Mhm.
adult, I mean, I haven't learned anything that I mastered in one day as an adult. I can't think of nothing, to be honest with you. But when it comes to money, you just want to speed up the process, but
Yeah.
you can't. You can't.
That's true. That's true.
So,
I think I was reading a particular book, and the author was talking about money from the word currency. That it's also from the word current, like the way we have ocean current, the way it moves, the way it flows. So when it comes to money, it always has a particular direction or a particular flow that it's going to. And sometimes you need to take your time, like somebody who is trying to surf, like go
yeah.
surfing. They have a way of studying the flow of the wave, you know, the wave and all that, studying the wave and all that to know that, okay, the wave is going to go towards this direction. So let me surf towards that direction. So anybody that is watching us, anybody that is listening to us, you kind of have to take baby steps. Apart from taking baby steps, we are taking baby steps. Apart from that, learn how it goes, learn how money flows, and there are a lot of things that the rich never tell the poor, which is going to take time for us to have them. Some of them we know already, and the stock market is a
Bring me those
huge
other two,
stuff.
please. Sorry.
The stock market is a huge stuff. I was reading a book recently. Basically, this book I'm almost about to finish before I jump on another one. And
Yeah, show it
uh,
good. Like I can see it, but I can't see all of it. Like the book
yeah,
again.
it's
Rescue
this.
your money, how to invest your money. Oh, I need to stop talking. Go ahead, you do it. Cause
Yeah, so this actually, yeah, you have rescue your money, how to invest your money during this
tumulus.
tumult- tumultuous times. Yes, and I came across a particular page that I was having an argument with a friend. Not really an argument, but we're comparing notes, and um, we said something. He was talking about mutual funds, and I'm like, okay, it's good to have invest in mutual funds, but for me personally, um, I would like a broader sense of mutual funds apart from index funds. That
Thank you.
that's what we call exchange traded funds with the ETFs. And I showed him something. I'm like, the author or the writer said something here, and you can see a list of rich people listed by Forbes,
Okay.
and all these people are owners of mutual funds companies.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to see that Fidelity, Franklin, and Templeton, Franklin Temple. You see all of them, and you see their names, the amount that they are worth, and the mutual funds companies that they owe, because they know the monies that come in there for them.
Yep.
You know, yeah, the
That's
front load payment, back load payment, and all that. So I will not do a lot of mutual funds from the information that I'm getting.
yeah.
I would rather do index funds and also do some ETFs and individual stocks and stuff like that. But man, there's a lot of information out there. We're doing this page for educational purposes, and yes, just take baby steps, as we said. And
So I'm glad you started talking about books, man. So we can end it off with that. I'm glad you shared your book because I'm gonna actually ask you for some book tips to read.
okay,
So I started off with this book. I mean, everybody know this book, right? Oh man, why is it?
yeah,
Retire
Antigua.
Young, Rich, How to Get Rich Quickly. Okay. So then I read that one. That's very good. So then I moved up to my boy Peter Lynch. One Up on Wall
Oh,
Street. This is a very
mhm.
good book.
I have to. I think I have the audio version of this book, but I
Okay.
need the hard copy to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I was in half price books this past weekend and I found another Peter Lynch book. It was only $4, bro. I had to get this
What?
$4.
You should have texted me, man. You should have texted me.
I say $4. Yeah, let me get this. And so
Why
I
didn't you
literally
text
just
me?
started reading this stuff. Actually, I'll send it to you when I'm finished because it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all, it's
yeah.
all highlighted. And so whoever read this took some good notes. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, so beat the street. So I'm reading this one
Man,
now.
I'm going to text you my address. Like, trust me.
Okay.
When you're done, I would like to read it.
Yeah, I'll send them to you, bro. Because actually, I'm done with this. I done read this book like three times. Three times. So,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then a good friend of mine, he gave me this book literally last weekend, The Essays of Warren Buffett, Lessons for Corporate America. I haven't started on this one yet, but I'm
Okay.
anxious to see what Warren Buffett got. And then I'm kind of a nerd. I just thought this is not related, like Future War.
Preparing for the new global battlefield. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of related to tech,
Mm-hmm.
because I could keep saying that's why I'm into Virgin Galactic. They putting everything out of space. They fighting over space with the satellites and stuff like that. ISS, they keep adding new modules and new people to it. And the next war will be fought out of space with lasers and all that type of stuff. So I'm kind of reading this. It kind of goes with investing, but it's kind of just good, information to know. And that speaks on the point of like kind of just taking baby steps, man. If you be reading these books 5-10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a weekend or whatever, man, a lot of this information is in these books. You ain't even got to listen to us, or we could just
Yeah.
go back and forth about the stuff we read in the books.
Yeah. And I think I was listening to one particular author, and it was like for most of the time, because he's busy driving to work and all that, when he's not at home, has some free time to read, he also looks for the audio versions of the book that he's reading. And I realized a very good strategy. Like,
Hmm.
if, like, for example, Peter Lynch, you're reading this book in your free time, when you're in your car driving, or maybe
Yeah.
you're in your free time taking a walk in the park or something, at least if you have the audio books and you're
Yeah.
listening to it, yeah, it kind of gets you to catch up with a whole lot. So books are very, very important, especially the books that you brought out. They are super good. Yeah.
I do that at the gym, man. People think I'm listening to
Mhm.
music. Sometimes I'm listening to like YouTube videos about stock and I'm bouncing my head. They're like, what you listening to? Oh, how to trade stocks. Like, what? It's like, yeah, bro. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Oh,
But anyway, we
oh,
said
okay.
30 minutes, man. We up on an
Hmm.
hour. So um,
Cool.
as always, I appreciate your
Yeah.
time. It was good.
Hmm.
I'll leave you with the
Sure.
closing remarks and we'll just
Sure.
end it from
Yeah.
there.
So before we leave, as we always say, this for entertainment and what educational purposes for people to learn from, as we share some of our slides explaining to you. And for me, most of these slides are things, some of the videos after we are done, I go back to watch again to restudy some of the things. And thank God for the internet. Some of these things you can save on your watch list and all that, to go back to them every now and then to learn from them. So I would say that anybody that comes across any of the videos here, take time to learn and go through the process. Go through the process to understand what you're doing. Write any question that you have there under the comment, and by all means, we'll get back to you on that. If I see it, I'll probably answer quickly. If not, then if Terry also sees it, Terry is also going to respond to you on that quickly. But stick to your strategies, be consistent to the principle to which you are attached to, And for me, I'm always on the fact that as a Christian or as a believer, you need wealth to also propagate or push whatever that you're doing as the work that you're doing. And this is one of the channels you can start investing and making money out of. Always learn to let your money work for you whilst you're asleep. Let me end on that. Yeah.
There you go, brother. I couldn't have said it any better. All right.
Yeah.
On that tip, have a good night, man.
Good
I know
night.
I'll talk to you throughout the week, and we'll
Sure.
see everybody next Sunday.
Sure. Take care. Bye.
All right. Take care.